Hello and welcome back to part two of this series thingy. If you haven't watched part one, I'll put it back in the description on below here. I'm not gonna put up one of the fancy YouTube links. First of all, I don't know how to. Second of all, I think they're annoying. And yet again, I'm also back here with Nerbert the Goat Charmer, who you might know as Nerbert the Eater of Hospitals, but he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
today we're going to be talking about what we think kind of changes will happen to heroes. Not all of them, because we've tried that, and that took like 3 hours. That was
We
awful.
got to let's see, Abaddon
Kunka.
through Kunkka took us about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. That sounds dreadful. But we're just going to talk about just general heroes that are strong, we think are going to be nerfed, heroes that we would like to see buffed just so that way you can see relevance. And yeah, that's all I got for the intro.
Mm.
So I guess to start things off, let's talk about the piece of shit Dro.
Drow Ranger, the love child of 6.88.
And Toby's
Um
waifu.
mhm. Drow is what every man wants to be.
I wonder if she has
Powerful,
hairy feet.
definitely hairy feet.
Okay, I'm glad we got that
Drow's
out of the
actually a
way.
man with breast implants.
I mean,
Um,
$20 is $20.
exactly. She got him. Actually, they instead of like the gel they use, they filled it with cement. That's why they don't move when you move her camera.
I just thought they were frozen. Okay, let's get into like nerfs of Dro. So Dro right now, two things will happen. Either Ice Frog just rains hell on her and nerfs everything about her. Stats, her slow, silence, her passive, both her passives, I guess. But most likely, if he doesn't do that, he's probably just gonna nerf her precision aura, which gives currently level 4, I think like 38% damage of her, or 38% of her agi is damage, and they're probably gonna nerf her ultimate too, which gives I think 80 at level 3, 80 agility that is.
Yeah. So my guess here is she's getting the storm treatment. She's getting sent to the Shadow Realm. She's gonna be gone for a while. In about 3 patches, she might get back, maybe.
Okay, so in that case, yeah, that's actually a good point. So they're probably gonna nerf a bunch of items too. Because right now it's been heavily
Dragonite.
dominated by ranged heroes, like competitive that
Yeah.
is, like with the Lunas, the Drows. So expecting Dragonlance to be nerfed, Hurricane Pike to be nerfed. Probably, I don't know, what other items are there? I guess just like Aquila,
Um, I don't know. Manta's good. I don't think they're gonna
Manta.
nerf it in any way.
I think they're gonna nerf Manta.
I mean,
Like, because we've had just constant illusion spam in competitive games now, and
right. That's a good point.
people are starting to get tired of it, so I wouldn't be surprised if they nerf Manta.
Do you think they're gonna do anything to her eggs?
The Droags? No. No
Yeah.
one, like, I think the Droags is really nice just because it can secure her late game, but it's not like a first pickup. That's the thing with Mirana. Like, her Ags is instant pickup. Like,
Yeah.
whether you're position 2 or position 4, you're going to want to go and pick up Mirana Ags just because it's so good. But Dro's Ags, I don't think is on that level. Just because, I don't know. I guess just because it isn't that big of a team fight. Because well, I can explain it. So, Mirana, once you have Ags, that's all you really need to be useful. But for Dro, not only to be useful with Ags, but you need like 1 or 2 Mjolnirs, Dragonlance, and Hurricane. You just need a lot of items to be useful with her Ags.
Hmm.
And so I think that's why we don't see Dro's pick up her Ags first, just because of that.
Right. Right. Um, I'm not really sure. Like, I don't think there's anything else particularly to be nerfed. Um, her just her passives are the problem.
Yeah.
Her silence, her Q, they're good. I don't think they're gonna get nerfed because
Just
that's
her
kind of a
damage
hero.
output, especially influencing the team damage output too. It's really strong now.
Yeah. So basically, both of us, I think we agree that they're gonna nerf her damage.
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt about it.
If they don't, though, what if they nerfed her strength and made her even squishier than she is now, just to punish the amount of
I
damage she
think
does? Make her a
if they
true
want to make
glass
her
cannon.
so if they want to make her squishier than now, I think what they're actually going to do is just increase the range that it takes to remove her ultimate. Like
Hmm.
right now, I think it's like 200, 300 range. If they really want to make her squishier, and less reliable, they might increase that even more to like 500. Like that would both lower her armor when someone's near, and also it would just seriously limit her damage if you could have someone that can get even closer. And it
Right.
would make, if you're gonna do that though, I feel you gotta buff Gust's pushback ability, like pushback power.
Yeah, maybe like reduce the silence duration, but increase the pushback,
Yeah, like that.
if that was the
If they
case.
don't want to make her complete dog shit, that is, they might
Yeah.
just want to make her dog shit.
I have no problem with that.
Neither do I.
Um,
That's all I really have on Dro. Let's go to.
yeah,
I'm gonna. Okay, let's go to Shadow Demon next because I feel he's the second most picked. Now I'm
what's the
tired
shadow
of
demon?
illusion spam. So I guarantee you they're gonna nerf Shadow Demon's illusions because right now they only take 85% of the damage, or I think 185, something like that. Basically,
It's
they're way
200.
too tanky. It's ridiculous, and they do, or no, they do 85% of damage, and I think like 150. They take
Hmm.
150 damage. It's ridiculous. That's like on the level of certain ultis.
Right. One little pointy headed porcupine man.
Yeah.
I think disruption's just better.
Yeah, and it's almost like the illusion is pretty similar to Morphling Ultimate too. Except obviously you
Yeah,
can't teleport to it, but
it does more damage though, I think.
yeah,
Disruption does.
it's just
Um,
ridiculous. Especially since like the ability itself is is like a really good save and form of initiation too.
yeah, it's a great ability.
It's like on its own, if the illusion is just like instantly died or like did no damage and instantly died, it would be still good.
Hmm.
Like especially with how just better pros have gotten too, just with being able to save and initiate and team combos. So I would actually, that speaking of a nerf to that, I would be perfectly okay if they got rid of the damage to Shadow Demon's illusions. I think
Um,
because that would make it more of a defensive ability then. Because I mean, if you could still have it like take 150 damage from things, and it would still be a really good defensive ability. Because say someone tries to initiate on one of your ally heroes, you cast it on that ally hero. Then there's three of those heroes, and it's like you do damage. Well, at early levels, it can be kind of hard, or even later, it can be kind of hard to tell the difference between illusion and real hero at that point, just because they don't take a ton of damage. And so I think that would improve it, or it would solidify its defensive abilities, while removing its annoying offensive ability of being able to just take a lane of racks, just because it's. I don't know. What are
I
your thoughts?
disagree. I think that's a little bit too harsh. Just considering the fact that disruption's his main way of going into the late game and actually scaling a little bit. Um, I definitely think the illusion damage should be reduced, but I do not think it should be removed.
Yeah,
Because Shadow Demon, what he's good at, besides initiation and saving people, um, is punishing carries of the enemy team. If they
yeah,
build
he would
all
still be
these,
able to do that.
if they build pure damage, but they don't build any tank ability, he can just disrupt them and then have them kill themselves. So he punishes that style of balls to the wall aggression, and I think that's what Shadow Demon's best known for, and that's what he's best at.
I
If you remove
disagree.
that damage,
The
how
main
so?
reason I disagree though is because he already can create a high amounts of damage. Like I feel like this next patch they might increase just the teamwork ability. And like you got to consider Shadow Demon's other abilities on he can amplify damage at level 4 by 50% peer. And also so with that is good the entire way. Like you even have pros like they're maxing that and not even maxing or they're not even using Shadow Poison. They're just
Hmm.
maxing his Q and his W. And but it's like if you were to nerf his Q, make it a purely defensive ability, and you pretty much left everything else alone, you would still have Shadow Poison that would give you great offensive ability early game, meaning that you can secure lanes easy. You still have your I don't remember what his W is called. It's probably demonic
Soul
something.
Catcher.
Soul Catcher, yeah. But you have Soul Catcher that amplifies damage all throughout the game, and if you're actually good at the hero, you can easily single out a hero using it, especially if you're using your Q. And I don't know, I still think he'd be useful, especially since his ultimate's still really good. And his Ags, if you manage to get his Ags
It's
is also
amazing.
incredible. So I think he would still be viable in later stages of the game. He just wouldn't be as much as he is now. But admittedly,
Mhm.
currently he's just broken late game.
I think that again, I think that has to do with the other heroes in the meta right now as well.
Oh, certainly.
Like the drows, you just disrupt your own drow and have her destroy a pair of racks because they still get the all the bonus damage. And but yeah, I think maybe not. There should be an indirect nerf. Maybe not particularly to the ability, but the heroes that are really
I mean,
popular with
nerfing
them.
Drow and Luna would be an indirect nerf. Same with like if you nerf
Yeah,
Morphling too, which we'll get
right,
to
right.
Luna and Morphling. But yeah, I mean, like you'd still have indirect nerfs, but I still think on his own, just the his illusion damage is too good.
Hmm.
Like
No,
I don't know, it's
anyways,
ridiculous.
yeah, I think we should move on.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about Warlock next. Hero, he's kind of seen in pubs. He was seen quite a bit in competitive. He's kind of dropped off just like in the last day or two, but I still think he's really good. I mean, you have his man, I suck at remembering all these names, but I'm just
Fatal
gonna use
bottom.
Q. I'm just gonna use the core. So
Mm,
you have his Q. The basically it just makes spreads damage everywhere. But I mean, if you get it on 5 heroes, 25% damage for each hero, you can actually double damage. You can double the damage of an AOE ability.
mm.
But you've seen him compared with Veno, Mirana, with Ags is insane.
Him with Coddle is actually
Coddle
really,
too,
really.
and so it's just insane. So they're definitely gonna nerf that. I don't know how. They might just lower the percent of damage and also maybe the time because right now it has over 100% uptime at level 4, which is pretty insane for how good that ability is. Then you have his heal, which at level 1 is the highest heal in the game, I believe. Not the highest amount of damage. Jug has that one.
Yeah, it's 15 heal a second for 12 seconds,
Yeah, it's
which is
pretty
pretty
insane. So
crazy.
they're definitely going to nerf that. Or at least nerf it. They might keep it the same at level 1, but they might nerf the scaling of it to where I won't just
Hmm.
heal as much at later levels and do as much damage at later levels too. Because right now it's incredibly high. And then
All
you, of
people's gonna
course,
be left alone.
yeah.
It's annoying, but nobody picks it up. I like it.
Yeah, the heal is
Um,
actually really good. It's an underrated ability or team fight ability,
mm,
especially once you get it into higher levels. Just everyone, it's like a massive AOE ice wall. And of course, you have his ultimate, the icing on top, the cherry on top, whatever. Where it counter initiation, great stun, do lots of damage and push. I actually don't think they're gonna really nerf that. I think his ultimate's in
no,
a fair plot. I think just his
I
Q and W.
yeah, and if anything, just nerf his Q. I think his Q is his bread and butter more than his ultimate.
Yeah,
It helps his team. It spreads damage, like you said. Um, the hero wouldn't be the hero without his Q, and I think right now it's a little bit too good.
I would
And if
agree
they
with
nerf
that.
that, I think Warlock would be fine. I don't think he's OP. He's popular. He's a good hero, so I don't think anything drastic is necessary. Just maybe a cooldown change, possibly, so it's not a 100% uptime because it has a duration of
It's
25 seconds and a cooldown of 18.
Yeah, it's over 100% uptime. It's insane.
Um, maybe make the mana cost scale throughout the game because it's a flat 120, which isn't. So I'm trying to think, what is Warlock's starting mana? It's not great, I don't think, but
Typically, I don't have it on my screen, but typically supports have good starting or base stats. So I
mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if he has a decent amount of mana.
Yeah, I mean he can spam it a couple times in lane, but maybe do something with the mana cost where he can't really spam it and be cancerous in the lane as much, and make it more dependent on team fights.
Yeah,
But
I can agree with
that's
that.
like all I have to really say about Warlock. I don't think anything else is too awful good.
I can
It's
agree
still
with that.
good, but not broken anyway.
Okay, then the next I want to talk about was Ogre Magi. The
Mr.
I think in China he is called Fat Blue, something like that.
Fat Blue.
Yeah, he's called something like that.
Oh, that's a great name.
I think we should bring that over to the English side myself.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Fat Blue.
Yeah, same here. Okay, anyway, let's go. So about Ogre. One of the most picked heroes in competitive. Pretty much impossible to kill at level 1. Does
Mhm.
insane amounts of damage at level 1. And just runs around and hits people. And I love playing him. So I
He's
hope
probably
he's left alone.
yeah.
But
He's
I know
probably one of the
he's
most
not.
fun supports to play besides maybe Rubik. But fucking ogre. I believe it's 4 or 5 starting armor.
No,
Um,
it's like 8.
is
Yeah,
it
it's 8.
8?
Yeah.
Jesus
They buffed it. They
Christ!
buffed it like 2 or 3 times in a row.
And his health
Plus his health
regen is
regen, they increased that too. I think it's like 3 or 4 now. he's he's super tanky, and of course he can even go late game with Ags too. Like
yeah,
his
his
Ags is
starting
pretty
damage is
insane.
good. He has the ability to chase you down with Orb of Venom. His early game is just insanely good. Bloodlust is good for the late game. They're going to have to either nerf his late game potential or his early game potential.
I think what
They
they're
don't need to do both.
Yeah, I think they're gonna nerf his early game potential for sure. They're probably gonna leave his strength or his armor. They might nerf his or his initial health regen,
Hmm.
and they're probably also gonna nerf his W, his let's see, ignite.
Right.
Because right now it does a lot of damage, 26 damage per second for 5 seconds, and it's 20% slow. So most likely they're probably gonna they're either nerf and or the slow and the damage. I wouldn't even be surprised if they might increase the overall duration, but they're probably going to nerf the damage in the slow big time.
Yeah.
Because like right now the duration scale is 5, 6, 7, 8. I wouldn't be surprised if they make that like a flat 7 at all levels, something like that. But yet they nerf the damage and the slope a lot. Because right now,
Mm.
because I'm just thinking of how to make it to where he's still somewhat relevant too. But I mean, they might
Maybe they
just
can
plain
do it,
nerf the damage
and
and slow and not change the duration.
they can increase the cooldown so it's not spammable.
I mean, the cooldown's 15 seconds.
It's 15. It's not that long.
Yeah,
But like you
like
see him in a
20.
fight or whatever, and he uses it every time it's up. You're constantly slowed, and if you put in the duration with that, that's it has an effective time of about 9 seconds. Or like
Let's
you
see.
have
If it had a 16-second cooldown, it would have a 50% uptime. It's a 15-second cooldown, so it has over a 50% uptime.
yeah.
Let's just go like
So
55.
maybe increase the cooldown or decrease the duration, not both. Um,
Yeah,
I don't think the damage is too.
it's
I mean, it's good.
it's really good, especially since it's a
50.
slow AOE slow.
Yeah, I mean, it has the potential to do 400 damage per second, or not per second, but overall.
Yeah,
Um, what do you think about Bloodlust? Do you think it's going to
Bloodlust.
be nerfed, or do you think it's going to be
It's
another
gonna be nerfed.
indirect?
It's I think the movement speed is fine, but I feel what's gonna be nerfed is the duration.
Yeah, so he'll have to actually use his mana to
Yeah, like
actually
probably
use
the
it.
duration and mana cost is
Mhm.
it's incredibly spammable, and it's just really good in the mid game and late game even. Because you can just constantly keep that up on your allies and yourself. And I mean, you can even as an ogre in early to mid game, if you prioritize bloodlust and just have like one level in Q, you can just constantly run at the enemy heroes and just beat them to death, and they can't really do anything about it.
Right.
And of course, they can't run away because they have a slow on them.
Slow. You stack
So
Orb of Venom on top of that, they can't move.
yeah, I think his stun's gonna remain about the same though. I don't think they're gonna change that.
Yeah, they've nerfed it in the past. I think it's fine.
Yeah, so it's like I'd have to say the two biggest changes for Ogre will most likely be his health regen at level 1, the ignite, and also the bloodlust. I think they're gonna leave the armor the same because I feel
Yeah.
if you nerf the health regen, it won't be as big of a deal.
Yeah, I believe they're gonna leave multicast as well. It's
Yeah,
just
they might even nerf his base strength too because he has really good strength again. So it's like
yeah,
later
he's pretty
on,
much a strength hero.
yeah. So later on, he'll still be viable as a tanky hero, but early on, it'll just make him a little bit squishier.
Hmm.
But he'll still have 8 armor, so it won't be that big of a deal.
Right. Well, that's all I've got.
Same. But yeah, I think obviously I think there'll actually be buffs to magic damage this patch.
Yeah, I
So
think
I
Ice
think,
Frog is probably going to make a shift from the high physical damage right
yeah,
now to maybe a more magic based team fight patch.
pull one out from my boy Zeus.
Mm-mm. No.
Okay, let's move on. So, we can talk. What do you want to talk about now? OD or Bat?
Um, let's go with OD.
OD, that
Yeah,
that OS frog himself.
Mr. Man.
S-
Um,
Go ahead.
so what I'm seeing right now is he's pretty popular, competitive. Um, does he deserve a nerf? I don't think so. Um,
I think he
he's
did.
not overly good.
Well, I wouldn't say a nerf or a direct nerf, or at least. So okay. So I think his. I think they're gonna leave his Q. I think his Q is gonna be left alone. I think they're gonna increase the cooldown on Astral Imprisonment because it's pretty insane right now. Well, that was Discord, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Just ignore
Okay,
that.
that's gonna sound good on the audio. I'm gonna leave it though because editing's for chumps.
No,
But
that's fine.
anyway,
That's fine.
Astral Imprisonment, like competitive, they're actually maxing Astral Imprisonment and leaving Arcane Orb at level 1. Just because the damage is still insane, and Astral Imprisonment is really good for saving, for initiating, and it has good damage. So if I had to get, the issue is now it's just super spammable, so they're probably going to increase the cooldown on Astral Imprisonment. And not to only mention that, but we've talked about how they're going to nerf Dro with items. OD likes to build Hurricane Pike, so that's when
Yeah,
items is going to be nerfed. He likes to build drums, and I don't think they're going to change drums. They might even buff it.
I think they need a buff.
Yeah, but that's the only. Oh, they'll probably also I think they might nerf at Sanity's Eclipse. I think like I would be totally down if they remove 40% mana. Like how, because Sanity Eclipse right now removes 40% of the mana from enemy heroes. I would
Hmm.
be down if they just got rid of that. Because it does. There's no point to it. It just makes it too strong. Like it already does insane amounts of damage.
Yeah, and it overall increases the damage of your arcane orb because you're going to be having more mana than them.
Yeah,
Actually, never mind. That's not how that works
that's
anymore,
not
is
how
it?
it works at all. But
Oops.
no. But the thing is though, it's like I've played many a games where I'm going against an OD. Like I remember when I was playing Brewmaster, and it's like, oh my ulti's off cooldown in 1 second. I'm getting ready to cast it. Well, OD ults me, and now he didn't kill me, but I just lost all my mana because I'm a Brewmaster with nothing, and so now I can't cast any of my spells. So he just runs me down, and it was awful. And it's stuff like that where it's just unreasonably good, in my opinion at least. So I would be down if they just nerfed the cooldown on the Astral Imprisonment and they just got rid of the 40% mana removal from his ultimate. Because that still wouldn't limit his right click damage at all. That like they're probably gonna nerf Hurricane Pike, so that would do that enough in mid to late game. But overall, that's the only change I really see.
Right, right.
Do you have
I don't
anything
really
to
have
add to
much
that?
I don't really have much to say about OD. One thing I did notice, I was reading on Reddit, the source of all knowledge, uh, that a lot of people are wanting like the old OD back, where he could just steal all your intelligence with his W, and I get that. Um, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to
No.
change OD every single
Has
patch.
Ice Frog ever went back on a change like that,
Ricky,
Ricky?
remember his let's see, they made his invis. They come right initially.
Well, they didn't go back
They
to
made
like how they initially had him. They changed him up a lot.
they changed him twice.
Yeah, because like his invis used to be his ultimate, and he had Blink Strike as regular ability. Then they changed Blink Strike to his ultimate for 3 charges, and his invis
Hmm.
was regular ability. Then they made his Blink Strike a regular ability, his ultimate a regular ability, and then they just gave him a brand new ultimate.
Hmm.
And but I mean like did they ever just like it would be more
Revert a change.
comparable if they made Riki have his invis and ultimate.
Right.
That's what I kind of mean. Like, has he ever gone back on a change like that?
Not that I know of. I could be wrong, but I can't think of one.
Okay.
Usually when they make a change, it's necessary and for the better.
Yeah. Because I think the old OD would have been fine if the Astral Imprisonment gave damage. Or not,
And while we're
did
on
damage.
OD, I would like to talk about how his Ags doesn't really work with his ult
Yeah, they're
anymore.
definitely going to change his Ags. And if they don't, it's because he's just strong on his own.
Hmm. But like, it was designed to work with his old ultimate,
Yeah,
where
I kinda
where
just forgot
Astral
about
would
it.
steal intelligence. But I guess they just kind of slipped up on that.
The worst thing is, like, if the damage from the Astral Imprisonment stacked, so say you had two
Mhm.
tiers that are Astral Imprisonment, if it did 600 damage because one of them gets hit by 300 and then the other 300, then it'd be strong. But that's not the case. They do not stack. So you use your ultimate, like if you get Ags, all it's really doing is just adding 300 damage, and it can reset a fight, no doubt, but it's not what you want as an OD. Water. Okay. That's all I really have on OD.
I don't think I have anything else to add to it either. So I guess we can move on.
Alright.
Who do you want to do next?
I want to do Luna next. The hero
Luna.
that is mostly picked up because of Shadow Demon, but on her own is also pretty good.
Hmm.
So, the first thing we talk about was Shadow Demon and how the glaives are incredibly strong currently. And with how I've seen her played a lot, even without Shadow Demon, she's still really strong just because of as soon as you get down to tier 3, she can just melt your racks. And there's not much you can do about it. Even like there's even teams that try and counter it with a Shadow Demon of their own against a Luna, and even then it still seems to just fail.
Hmm.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if in this upcoming patch they might nerf her glaives a bit, and then obviously they'll probably do indirect nerfs to items too.
All right. So what do you think they're going to do to the glaives? Like, are they going to reduce maybe building damage? What do you think?
Currently the glaives, the way they scale is 1 bounce to 2 bounce, 3, and then 6. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if they lower that from like 3 to 4 instead of 6 bounces. Because right now getting that level 4 in glaives effectively doubles the
Doubles.
effectiveness.
All
But
right.
if you cut that down to back down to 4, so it's just like an even scaling, I think it'd still be somewhat relevant and it can still do damage to the barracks. But it really emphasizes wanting to take down the smaller little buildings such as the effigies and all that. Just so that
Hmm.
way it's actually 4 bounces just back and forth between the 2 barracks or the tier 4s. Instead of just 6 bounces all around and it still hits all the barracks multiple times. It's just really strong.
Uh-huh. All right. So what else did you think could potentially be nerfed? Like items, like indirect nerfs with, of
Uh,
course, Dragonlance.
yeah, Dragonlance Hurricane Pike too. The Hurricane
Mhm.
Pike is actually really huge right now, just because it gives you
Right.
good stats due to Dragonlance, and also just inherently from a Force Staff, it provides stats through that too. But it's just the mobility it gives you. It's really insane. Like the fact that it just does so much.
Yeah, and it greatly improves these ranged heroes like Luna and Templar Assassin.
Yeah, it just allows them
It makes them
to
pretty
enable.
insane. Right, right. Um,
Did you
so I
want
was
to
going to ask you about
about the
this, like
axe?
Luna's Ags. Yeah. Do you think it has any potential in competitive coming up? Do you think they could do anything to make it more viable? What do you think?
I think the biggest issue now is that she's really meant to be just she just constantly goes for towers and just hits, and her axe is kind of just like the cherry on top to just make people unwilling to initiate. Because if you're going to
Hmm.
initiate against a Luna who has her ultimate up, it has to be on that Luna and it has to be fast, or else she's going to get her ulti off and it's going to do a bunch of damage to everyone. And the thing with Ags is her Ags is amazing. It effectively doubles the damage of her ultimate, but you she is essentially useless outside of that time. Like, because it's a really long cooldown, and if she has an Ags, she doesn't really do much. Like, she needs items, she needs survivability, and Ags doesn't provide. It only provides a little bit of it. But if you get something like a Hurricane Pike and just maybe even drums or like Helmet Dominator, stuff like that, just more items that are just combo well, it just is better overall. Like,
Hmm.
that's the biggest issue with Ags. Also, if you just get a BKB, it counters her entire ultimate.
Yeah, it just doesn't
Like,
do anything.
yeah, like what she's gonna do if she goes to kill the 2 enemy cores, the BKB, your ultimate is useless, and now you don't have any items because all you have is a 4,200 gold. that is useless for 160 seconds, I believe.
Right, right.
And so that is the main issue with Luna eggs. And I can't really see what's changing about that. I think it's a really good situational item, and
I
it's
think it's
one
an
of the nice
alchemist.
alchemist buffs.
Right, right.
But besides that, I don't see it getting much play in competitive.
All right, I see it. Do you think Luna could maybe be played as maybe a position 3 or 4, where she gets an Ags and acts more of like a team fight hero instead of a carry?
As position 3, no, mainly because she does have farming potential, but she has no escape. And
Mm-hmm.
even then, at her early levels, like you'll see some position 3s, such as Beastmaster, go jungle. She isn't even that good at jungle early on, just because her glaives aren't that great at early levels. Like, it's
She
not
has to spend
until.
900 on lifesteal as well to
Yeah.
actually be able to do it.
And on top of that, if you go position 4, she's good at running down heroes because she has the second highest move speed in the Dota.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't really have any consistent slow. Her stun isn't a very long stun. And at early levels, it's not very high damage. And that's the main issue, because it's like if you see someone like Mirana, she has an ability to farm large jungle creeps with her arrow. She has it's a long stun with decent amounts of damage, and she has an escape, so she can be played in multiple different roles, a 2, 3, or 4. Luna just has Lucent Beam and then her high move speed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like she can't really do much besides that. If she had some sort of slow instead of the stun, then yeah, she could definitely do it. Like especially at level 2, if because she has what is it plus 16 damage or plus 24 something like that at level 1 due to one of her passives. If you have that paired with a decent slow, she can do a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't have that slow, so she just can't really be a position 4. And as position 3, she has no escape, and she's really squishy early on.
All right, I get that. All right, want to move on?
Yeah, let's move on. So, this asshole Timbersaw, a
Ugh.
hero that I love playing, but I will leave the game if I have to play against it.
No, you won't.
I won't, I know. So, the main issue with this hero is that he just makes a bunch of strength heroes useless. It removes 15% of their strength. It's insane. And his Q, he doesn't even need to level it up. Just 6 seconds at every level, 15% primary attribute removal too. Way too strong. Plus his reactive armor makes him immortal.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking about this hero is they need to either nerf his early game or late game. I'm shooting more towards his early game because he needs his late game potential. Early game, his passive's just too good. You walk into a creep wave and you've got what is it, like 20 HP regen?
Yeah, you
It's
don't even
insane.
need level 4 in your reactive armor. Just level 3 and you can actually tank a tower. It's just
Yeah.
that good. You can just leave it at level 3 and then max out your chain or get ultimate. Like I would be alright with it if they made you choose. Like you had to go with either the tanky build or the high damage build early on, instead of
Hmm.
like now you're just getting the cake and eating it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I feel if they change that to where he has to choose between, is he going a huge burst build early on, or is he going to just survive and tank up?
Hmm.
How they would do that, I don't know. They might just nerf his reactive armor for all we know.
Yeah, but both of us are pretty sure he's getting nerfed.
Oh, 100% he's
There's no
getting
doubt.
nerf.
Whether it be towards maybe his early stats or reactive armor. I'm guessing reactive armor.
The one thing that we should mention though is that we both agree that most likely this next patch, magic based heroes will see a rise, like
Hmm.
the Zeuses and stuff. Like Zeus has been out for quite a while now.
And then I'll
So
kind
if
of poop on Timbersaw
yeah, so it's like if
indirectly.
the magic based heroes do see a rise, just because of buffs to them, that might be enough to just remove Timbersaw out of favor,
Hmm.
to where you don't even really need to do anything with him because those heroes can just make him melt.
That would be good.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's all I really have on Timbersaw. Insane burst
yeah,
damage all throughout the game. It's really hard to kill. They need to nerf something.
right.
Or make
I agree.
heroes that counter him more effective. Raindrop gaming is too strong.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, well we were just talking about magic heroes. Let's go into Invoker. I hate this hero. He does everything. And
Yeah,
it's It's awful. It's not even difficult anymore. It's just memorizing.
And they keep buffing him. I'm not sure why they keep buffing him. It seems pros are just now like deciding, hey, this guy's viable. Let's play him every game, and he's just nasty. He's able to get once they made that change to where he can get cold snap at level 1 or pretty much any of his spells at level 1. It's just insane. He's good early game. He's good mid game. He's good late game. He's nasty. He's a nasty boy.
Yeah,
What do you think they can do?
I think the main thing with Invoker is you lower his int gain per level, and you just you tweak some numbers on his abilities. I honestly, I think that would be enough to move him into a decent place, because in pubs he has a pretty low win rate, I think like 49%, and he's picked up decently in higher MMRs, and he still has a lower win rate, but still, it just, like playing pubs against him, it feels like just some things are a little bit too strong. I hate the fact that his, what is it, man, I can't remember what the ability is, where it pushes everyone back and disarms them.
Deafening blast.
Definitely blessed. I still don't get why that does so much damage and makes people not attack. I feel like it's got to do one or the other, as a defensive ability or as an offensive ability.
But now it's both.
Yeah, it's just insane. I mean, at least they got rid of the fact that you couldn't cast during it. They changed that, but it's still just insane as both an offensive and defensive ability. I feel like they needed to make a choice between that. Like, you look at all his other abilities, and I get that it's like, it's all QWE, like Quaswex and Exhort, which it's like, oh, it's all them together, so it's offensive and defensive. And that sounds great in concept, but once you actually use it and play against it, it's awful. And by awful, I mean it's incredibly good. So I would like to see changes with that.
So what other abilities in particular do you think is going to be nerfed? Like, personally, I think Cold Snap is going to be nerfed in the earlier levels.
I would agree with that. I think...
Because it's almost a guaranteed kill. If you get an Urn in the early game with Cold Snap, that's a guaranteed kill on someone if, like, a support rooms.
Yeah, if they increase either... I think the two things they might do are decrease the duration of the stun and increase the interval to where it doesn't do it like almost every instant. It's a longer interval between stuns. I think that would be at least somewhat manageable. Like EMP, I think EMP and Tornado, they're in alright places. I might even remove Tornado's ability to purge. I'm hesitant to do that though, just because, I don't know, I feel like that might be too much.
I don't, like, he buys Yules anyways, so I don't really see him. It's kind of silly for him to have 2 purges. I don't know. I don't like it.
The main thing with that though is, it's because of Ember Spirit. It's pretty much a direct counter to Ember Spirit. Just because if you get him in a Tornado at early levels, it immediately removes his Flame Guard.
Right.
That's why it's like, as a mid laner, if you're going to be going against an Ember Spirit, your dream is to have Invoker. Just because you get an early level, especially now with the instant level in Invoke, an early level in Tornado, you can just instantly remove his Flame Guard. Now he has limited farm potential, and he's not as tanky due to the magic, essentially absorption, I guess. I don't know what the technical term would be.
A last ability I'd like to talk about is the Forge Spirits. I think they're way too good.
The minus armor's pretty insane. Like, it's just, that's the biggest reason why he's so relevant early game, is that he has that farming ability. And I guess
you just send him to the jungle and just get free money.
And in truth, if you were to nerf that too, like they've already been nerfing it to where he has to make the choice. Like, it used to be, I think, Wex and Exhort, now it's Quas Exhort. Or no, it was flipped on how the health of the Forge Spirits and damage. So you have to choose between having tanky Forge Spirits and high damage Forge Spirits, something like that. But I feel like if you nerf that too much, it just becomes irrelevant, or at least as a mid, just because the Forge Spirits currently are what make him actually mostly viable. Because it allows him to secure some form of farm, and like the ability to win lane too. If you remove that, the only role I can really see him going towards is like a support kind of Invoker.
Right.
Someone that, or like a team fight base, because, I mean, without Forge Spirits, it just really hurts him as a hero. Or if they're just nerfed too much.
Alright. I agree.
As much as I would want him to be removed from my games, I don't want to make him dog shit.
No, that's fair. I'd like that, actually. Let's do that.
And, I mean, I can't really think of any items to really directly nerf Invoker, because, I mean, it's just Yules, Phase Boots, Urn maybe, picks up drums, Aquila sometimes.
What about Lincoln's? You think Lincoln's is
Lincoln's.
in a good spot?
Yeah, I think Lincoln's is fine.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. You've seen like the NP go the 4 Lincolns on 4 different heroes and just put it on one hero as the high ground, and it's incredibly
Effectively
strong.
BKB.
But yeah, like a 100% uptime BKB.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's just really gimmicky. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
and
that big of a deal.
it's pretty expensive too.
Yeah, it's incredibly expensive. Just you might as well buy a BKB.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, 3 or 4 Lincoln spheres on different heroes just for one hero. It's BKBs, what, a third of the price, fourth of the price even.
Yeah, that's a bit cheesy.
But yeah, I think Lincoln sphere is all right. I don't. Does it give any bonus stats from the what is it? Whatever orb it uses.
Ultimate Orb. You
Ultimate
get
orb.
15 in all attributes.
Ultimate orb gives you 10, right?
Yeah, so you get 5 extra.
If they're gonna nerf Lincolns, which I don't think they will, they're probably gonna nerf the stats.
Down to 10, so it's.
I mean, either that, like 10 or 12, something like that. I
Mhm.
think Lincoln Sphere overall is in an alright place.
Right, I agree.
I think it's a nice little item,
Hmm.
and you don't see it picked up every game either.
Yeah, it's really
That's how
situational, I
you
guess.
tell. So if you're gonna nerf an item, you nerf Raindrops and Iron Talon. Those are the 2 items that need nerf,
Yep.
and Dragonlance, because those items are actually picked up every single game. I think at the Boston Major so far they have 100% pickup, all 3 of them. All right, let's
good.
move on. Let's not
Yeah.
make this 2 hours. We ain't purged. So I just have 3 other heroes I wanted to talk about. One of them's Pudge, who currently the fat bastard has I think a 45% pick rate in 5K pubs, 5K plus pubs, and like a 51 or 53% win rate. It's actually insane. He's in
He's
half
the
of
number
the
one most popular character.
he's in half of the like 5K pubs,